better. Yeah, but before I would like to thank everyone for inviting me to be here tonight, and also say something about the new book, Freedom Only Freedom. So this book is a collection of articles that edited and translated by Omid Tawfiqian, who is here, and Munes Mansoubi. And I wanted to use this opportunity to appreciate Omid for what he has done. Definitely I couldn't be here without him. What he done for human rights, for refugees, and also for how he helped me, and we worked together to contribute to culture and political culture in Australia, and also he served our society, you know, as a Kurdish people, as a Kurdish society. So I really appreciate you, and thank you very much. Some other people, some academics contributed to this book as well, but I made a movie as well called Choke Up, Risk Lost the Time, and that was on 2017 as well. So, but I myself actually, I don't like politics. I hate politics, but as a Kurd, I think politics chase us everywhere. You know, we cannot get away of that. You know, so you know, in a different world, I could just sit down and write and, you know, enjoy literature, art, but I think we cannot really forget about politics. So I hate politics, but I'm highly political. I read about her that it was the first time that she visited Tehran, and she was killed by that brutal hijab police. And but her name is Gina. But at the first day when the news come on we hear it from the news, and people called her Mahsa, but actually her name was Gina. So, and so then people around the world, people who follow this story, follow the resistance and uprising in Iran, they know her as a Mahsa. So the reason I mentioned that is that they didn't let her family to name her Gina, and that, I think that is very important that we recognize that, we talk about that, because that is only a part of a brutal system against Kurdish people and other ethnic minorities in Iran and in the whole region. So that is important that we mention that always. And also symbolically is important because she was from Kurdistan, from Saka city, and the uprising has started from Kurdistan, from the Saka city, and the slogan "Woman Life, Freedom, Jen Jian Azadi" that come from Kurdistan as well. And some other elements of this uprising, like you know, how women were cutting their hair as a protest, how people took their hijab off. So that comes from Kurdistan. And the reason I think it's very important that we mention that and we recognize that is that we recognize decades of resistance and fighting in Kurdistan. These slogans come from Kurdistan, that come from, that has been a manifesto for Kurdish people and Kurdish women for decades, and our people have been fighting with this manifesto. And of course, that shows that Kurdish resistance knowledge has something important to offer to the world. So we should learn from that. That's why I mentioned that. So we cannot really ignore the background, ignore history of this manifesto in Kurdistan. But
I always worked hard to defend my right, and this is coming from my Kurdish culture, which the Kurdish people are going through the struggle, and from that struggle I always resisted and was fighting against the system that was imposed on us. As you know, the Kurdistan is being occupied by others, colonized, and also when I came to Australia and I faced a different system, which also is a culture coming from the colonized. And when I the culture of the Middle East, comparing to what I saw in Australia as a liberal democracy, it was a culture that taken from the history of colonizing back days, and that's why I experienced that sort of feeling. And the policies they imposed us was not far from the same culture that we experienced back in Kurdistan. Indigenous people of a system, they should get together and fight against the system, like he did with Omid, who's also is called like minority in Iran, and we could say we both worked together and we resisted the system, and obviously that's why we are here today. So.
I think so as a Kurd it's very difficult to fight, because when we say anything they call us separatists, and I think that just they use it to oppress us, to deprive us from our basic human rights. I should mention that generally politically, I myself, I don't believe in, so it is the first time probably that I say that, because here we are Kurdish, most of people here, so I should mention that politically I think I believe in a system like a federalism system for Iran, so I don't really believe that we politically is useful or it can be happen for us for now that we fight for that. But generally, I believe in that. I believe in a federalism system, a democratic system for Iran. And but anything that we say in this world, they call us separatists. So they to deprive us of our human rights, our basic rights. So that is very difficult to fight as a Kurdish. But I think, as I mentioned before about refugees and Manus, what I learned from Kurdistan, what I learned from Kurdish resistance is to fight, to change, to create a fundamental change. So that's why in Manus Island, I didn't fight to just make the prison as a better prison. I was fighting to create, get freedom for everyone, and also create, to empower refugees as well, to empower marginalized people as well, So I think that is, we as a Kurdish, we have that. We have a history of resistance. And I think if we just rely on that, we are able to create change. Not only in Kurdistan, I think Kurdish resistance has a lot to offer to this world, to make this world better, as I mentioned before, the slogan, Jen Jian Azadi, that is, it can be a gift from Kurdistan to the world. Ecology, environment, nature, that is, I think, another thing that I am really interested at his philosophy. But I should mention something about Julian Assange, that Julian Assange, that he has been suffering and struggling with that system for many years, but it's very interesting. I think his case, the way they arrested him, as like an international case, is very similar to the way they arrested Abdullah Öcalan, that how a group of, like international countries, some countries get together and they have been involved in that. I think that is very interesting for me always, that how Julian Assange case is known, but many people, many countries, many officials actually, they ignore Öcalan, So that is something that we should fight for that.
And the dialogue and the narrative that both the British and the Australian government use to dehumanise refugees, words like invaders, scourge, purge, pests, and I wanted to know, as citizen journalists or using social media, how do we, or what words do we use to change that dialogue to give power back to the refugees from the colonialist narrative that's been created?
Yeah, I think using art and literature is a powerful language to challenge that image about refugees, and to empower refugees, and also make refugees visible, in the official platforms as well, to make them visible. So I believe in that, but for changing that image, of course, it needs too much work and takes decades. But I think if we look at Australia, I think refugees in Manus and Nauru who have been working, they have done something, So I think the image about refugees in Australia, I think, has been changed. But of course, always refugees are marginalized people. So when you are marginalized, they don't take you serious, So that's why I think it takes time, but my understanding is that refugees should create their own discourse. I think it's very important. So I mentioned media and the role of media, that how they really don't try to understand Iran deeply, see Iran in a way, see and understand different layers of society in Iran. But the problem with that guy is that I think he represents the right side of opposition. But my understanding is that we shouldn't look at him and monarchists as a whole Persian people. We cannot say that everyone in Tehran think like that. We cannot say that Persian people, in the end, they support him, fully support him. So I think there is a resistance in Tehran, of course, against the government, but of course, I think Persian people, I think they are demanding for democracy. So definitely they reject him, and they have been rejecting him, So he is just a problem. But generally I think ethnic minorities and other minorities in the society, feminist movement, and Persian people in Tehran and big cities who really believe in democracy, they believe in, changing values, I think they will, I think they have been resisting against that, and they will, I think, take control of the whole revolution in the end, I think. So I think I don't look at him as a big problem. Yeah, I think he has been rejected by the society, and that will continue, I think. But of course, in future of Iran, if we establish a democratic system, he can represent the right wing of the society. So he can have a right-wing party and represent that. So, but generally, I think people of Iran, they reject patriarchy structure, and also they reject that monarchism. They do that. They don't believe in that, and they don't want to go back. That is my understanding. I should say that in that part of Kurdistan, always there have been people who participate in the Kurdistan resistance, But generally, that part of Kurdistan, we have been really struggling with the process of assimilation. So our people really have been, and also economically, our people have been deprived, but generally our people in that part of Kurdistan, they have been, deprived to actually to be a part of, Kurdistan resistance. And I think that there is some reason for that how the central government put focus on that part, especially Kermanshah. So we know the history of that to assimilate our people, but I think over the past 2 decades something changed, and I think people they have been trying to learn and be aware of their identity as a Kurd. And I think for me that have started when I was 18, 17 years old, but that was like a process, you know. That was a process that I taught myself how to write, how to read in Kurdish, and then I tried to teach some others, and I tried to understand more about Kurdistan. So that was like a process, you know. But generally, I think there are many people like me, many people who are active than me, many people who have paid cost, and because they want to educate our people.
Hello, Behrouz. Welcome to this meeting. And my name is Ashley. I don't have a question, but I would like to add something. As you said, you believe in Kurdistan of Iran to be part of the Iran. This is 100 years we've been fighting, and we're telling the world that we've been divided, and we lost our identity by the hand of the English and French governments. The second thing, we've got experience, and we live 102 years under the shadow of Turkish government, Iranian government, Iraq government, and Syrian government. We didn't gain anything except killing and destroying Kurdistan. I am so surprising you call the Kurdish as a minority. It's not a minority. It's a nation, 40 million. They have a right to have the flag. It's not the problem, it's not just the language. The border to be identified by the international community, they should have their own flag, they should have their border that, after all this experience, they should have their own freedom, and they should not live under the shadow of Turkish government, or Iraqi government, or Syrian government, or Iranian government, and the name of anything. Thank you.
My perspective towards politics is the real politics. So of course, it's very beautiful. We have that idea, we have that dream that Kurdistan become a country, independent country. But we should be real. That's what I believe. So you as a Kurdish, you can follow your idea, but my understanding of politics is that we should work to make Iran as a democratic country. And of course, we can have our flag, we can have our anthem, we can have everything. So I respect that, we have that. And also about minority, that word, that concept, that doesn't mean that we are not a nation. Always I said in my words, I use the nation, you know, for describe Kurdish people. So minority is not a word of humiliation. In my perspective, in a modern politics, being minority is a value, because you understand the politics, you understand the world in a better way, in a unique way, and you have a deep understanding of politics. So minority is not mean that how many population you have. Minority is your relation with the power structure. That is minority. So minority, when I say that, is not a word of humiliation. I should say that, you know, again. But of course, my understanding, and you know, over the past 4 months in Iran, we have 5 political parties in Iran. read their yeah, yeah, I think the balance of power is important. So balance of power, it means that in one side we have people who believe in centralism system, and opposite of that, ethnic minorities who believe in a federalism or a confederalism, a system like that. So balance of power is important, you know. So what will happen in future of Iran, I think this time is very different with the revolution of 1979. This time Kurdistan is not alone. Kurdistan is bigger because I think we have people in Ilam and Kermanshah as well this time. Yeah, we have people in that side of Kurdistan as well who, you know, they support Kurdistan resistance, and also other ethnic minorities as well. So this time, I think balance of power in the future, if this government collapses, I think even if the very nationalist people get power in Tehran, still I think they are not able to ignore us. So that balance of power already happened. But of course, as a Kurd, what is important for us is that people in Tehran and in the big cities, I mean Persian people, they really see us differently, not through the image that created about Kurdish people, about ethnic minorities. And I think this revolution has created change, you know, among the Persian Persian society. Many people don't believe in that, but I myself, through my own experience and my observation, I believe that people of Persian people, they have been changed, you know, and we should be hopeful for that. But otherwise, doesn't matter really if they, because that balance of power will change the Iran, you know. Even if they don't change, the values, if they still see us through that old image about Kurdish people, still I believe that doesn't matter, because we have a balance of power this time. So that thing, the Kurdistan political parties should understand that. They should realize. So my dream, my biggest dream for Iran is peace. That's what I believe. My biggest dream for Iran. My biggest dream for Iran is a democratic system that everyone in that country feel that they are equal. Everyone feel that their dignity, they get their dignity back. That is my dream for Iran. But generally, if that doesn't happen in future, still I think Kurdish people and other ethnic minorities, this time they will have a balance of power with them, so they cannot really dominate us anymore. That's what I believe. Invite Omid to come here, and I want to gift it to Omid. You know, I think. Yeah, because, you know, as a minority, I think it's very important, you know, that connection and what he has done of course, he has been working for refugees. He has done so much work. But I think as a Kurdish, I think I want to acknowledge him, as a Kurdish, because of course he helped us to, he served our society. So that's why I want to do that. Yeah, thank you very much.
Jam, Azadi!